Greetings, Elder Blacklight. What I'm about to show you is another example why Master Farad came to the wilderness of North America, July the 4th, 1930, to raise up the black man and woman, because he knew that a time would come where we would have to defend ourselves. And he knew that the odds of us defending ourselves with artillery or guns and weapons of that sort would be very, very short for the black man. So he taught us to depend on unity. He gave us a spirit of a spirit of God, the Spirit of God. And this would prevail through all these years, facing the mafia, facing police, you know. So on Democracy Now!, that's an independent news, and they're pretty good on accuracy reporting. But I want y'all to check this out.
Vox Booker was at Lake Monroe near Bloomington, Indiana, in the Indiana State Forest with friends on July 4th when 5 white men pinned him to a tree, beat him, threatened to lynch him. Booker is a member of the Monroe County Human Rights Commission in Bloomington. He says he was able to get out of the mob's hands after passersby intervened to get the attackers off him. Last week, Vox held a news conference with his attorney, local elected officials, and 2 of the white witnesses who intervened on his behalf during the attempted lynching. This is a reporter questioning. Warmdale, California, authorities are investigating the death of 24-year-old Robert Fuller, a black man who was found dead, hanged from a tree near the community city hall earlier this month. City officials said he died by suicide, suggesting the cause was due to mental anguish related to the coronavirus pandemic. But Fuller's loved ones believe he was lynched, and the community has been holding protests calling for justice. A week after Fuller was found hanged, Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies shot and killed his brother, Terran Boone, in what authorities described as a shootout in a desert town near Palmdale. Robert Fuller's death came 10 days after another black man, 38-year-old Malcolm Harsh, was found hanged from a tree about 50 miles away in Victorville, California, May 31st. After calling for further investigation, Malcolm Harsh's family said over the weekend that his death was in fact a suicide and that they had reviewed video footage the police provided. Community activists are still asking why it took so long for a thorough investigation into his death. In New York, the New York Police Department's investigating the death of Dominique Alexander, a 27-year-old black man who was found hanged in a Manhattan park 2 weeks ago. The local medical examiner's office ruled the cause of his death suicide. And in Texas, Congressmember Sheila Jackson Lee of Houston is calling for an investigation after 2 recent hangings. Last week, police found a 17-year-old black boy hanging from a tree in an elementary school playground in Spring, Texas. Earlier that week, a Latinx man was found hanged in Houston. This all comes as a noose was found in the garage stall of Bubba Wallace, the only African-American driver in NASCAR's Elite Cup Series. Wallace recently led a successful campaign to get NASCAR to ban displays of Confederate flags from its events. Well, for more on this topic, we're going to Durham, North Carolina, to speak with Jacqueline Olive, director of a film called Always in Season. It's a devastating documentary that examines the history of lynchings in the United States through the story of Lennon.
Mr. Muhammad, while we're talking about this very unique proposition of yours as expressed in the message to the black man and, of course, in all your philosophy, it's interesting to note that Abraham Lincoln once proposed or thought that all Negroes, perhaps for their own best interest, should be moved to a separate state. And Garvey, a great leader of the Negroes many, many years ago, proposed that the Negroes have their own state. He was never too successful. And if I remember correctly, the communists in the early 30s, at the height of the Depression, urged that the Negroes be given their own state in an effort to capitalize on their following, I presume. None of these ever came to fruition or were ever successful or ever interested too many Negroes. How do you figure that you today can get Negroes to leave this country of theirs and go elsewhere?
Well, we have history dating back that just less people than that. Even the people that dominated in the world today, your own race, they was not started with even 100,000. Only 59,000 was used to make your own world. It don't make any difference about the number. It's only the one that believing in the honest about accomplishing the aim and the purpose.
If you had your choice of territory in this country, where would you select?
Well, I'm not saying this. I have said time and again. I will not say where I would like to have a room in your house before ever you are willing to give me a room there.
Mr. Muhammad, in your book you also say that war between the non-whites and the whites is inevitable.
If you will permit me, Mr. Kappa, this is the trouble that she is confronted with. It is her slave. I don't care what someone might say or may say about the problem, but the problem of America, it is her slave. And the solution has been given. And this is just only a little twist of the solution that I am presenting to America today. That instead of all of this, I would say, mistreating the poor man, crying out today for more justice and better justice, better recognition, put him over here in some place. You have a house big enough to do so. Put him over here someplace to himself, regardless to what he say. You knows the truth. You know that he should be somewhere to himself, because you will never agree to all that he demands you of. You cannot do so unless you want to become a subject slave yourself, or that you want to get in the same status that your slave is in, to yield to all of his demands. That is trying to respect a one slave as your equal. You can't do that and keep your respect in the world of civilized nation. But you can, I should say, stop trying to force the ideal in the slave that he is as good, he is as honored, he is as much as the master. This cannot be accepted as truth, even from the master. If he has made progress in the way of civilization for the white man, or in the civilization of the white man, well, why object then to him doing this for himself? Let him make a way now for himself.
But don't you feel, Mr. Muhammad, that this success is generated among the Negro youth who look up to these people as idols, and they themselves take a place in society as successful people, inspired by their own people who have made successes?
Until he learned the truth. When he learned the truth of himself and of those who that he is worshiping, then he will go for himself, as I have the spirit to go for myself. By the knowledge and power of your own fathers from the Indian, and you made a great country out of it. Then he goes back to my country and brings us here to serve you as slave, free labor. For 300 years we have did that for you, willingly or unwillingly. We did so, and our fathers. Now for 100 years, you say we are free. And 100 years we are not free. We are so blind, deaf, and dumb, we still look forward to you to make our clothes for us, get the cotton and the wool, go and put it through the mills and make cloth out of it, for us, and we still sitting looking at you do all of this for us.
Mr.
And
Muhammad,
even-
if you'll pardon me, I must say that you're
all this studying about the effects of racism on the lynching on the black man, that's all that goes on. All this marching. After all these years, things still the same. This is Black Light saying, think about it. That's all I'm asking.